Hello, welcome to Dadrules Podcast. Hi guys, you're listening to Dadrules. In today's podcast, I want to give a few recommendations and a few tips and tricks that I did when I first split up with my ex-partner, so the children still felt safe and still felt loved, because this is the most important time for them, because obviously everybody's going through a lot of hurt, a lot of pain, and there's a lot of toing and froing going about. So we need to keep the kids' feelings, emotions, and keep that feeling of bond and that they're okay, everything's fine, maybe different, but just fine. And, they're still going to see the father, they're still going to see the mother, it's just going to be slightly different. So you need to keep that. So I want to talk about a few things that can help that can help the children stop feeling left out, alone, lost, and all that comes with this period in time. First thing I want to touch on is as soon as you break up with your partner, you are feeling down. A lot of men go out on the piss. Go out on the town, I should say. Bleep. A bit late, but but and we drown the sorrows. I mean, women do this, wives do this, husbands do this. It's part of nature. That's what you do, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with doing that, but you keep times for doing that. Certain times for you to go out and do that, but then other days you have to keep things as normal. I'm not really specifically going to talk about the wife sort of role, that's for single mothers to do. But so I'm here to talk about the father. Now, okay, so you've got your place to live, you're still feeling down, and now the most important thing you need to do, you need to see your children still regular as soon as possible. You need to get them into a routine. As soon as you split up with your partner, the first thing you need to do, forget any sort of courts or any what's going to happen next, you need to arrange times to see your children. That is the first thing you should keep in your mind when you're leaving the door, when you're packing your bags. Right, I've got to sort out a time to see the kids. The sooner you do, the better, and more of a less of a chance that they're going to feel alienated, lost, hurt. They're going to feel hurt, they're going to feel lost, but it's going to be not as much if you can continue seeing them, continue making them feel loved, continue making them feel at home, even though it's your home or the mum's home. If you leave it for a month while you drown your sorrows, go paint the town red, go enjoy your new single life, they're going to not like that. It's going to hurt them. You're gonna push them away. They're going to start wondering why. Other things are going to come into their mind. Is my dad ever going to come back? Is he going to come back and see us? Where is dad? And so forth. I mean, the kids are already thinking, are you going to come back? But I really need to stress, you need to get the times to see them if you can. I mean, if you're not, if you're still friends with a mother or what, even if you're not, you've got to do your best to see them. So even if it's just once a week, as soon as you leave, just set up, right, I'll pick up the kids on this day, I'll pick up the kids on that day, or whatever. Just even that once a week you need to do. You need to start it as soon as possible. That's what I did, and it helped my kids. I could tell it did. It helped my kids understand this situation. I still got all the same questions, as everyone does, but it lessened the hurt for them. It lessened, I didn't just sort of disappear, go, like you say, sound red, do this, do that, enjoy my life first, and then come back and go, now I'm going to be a dad again. It doesn't stop. Just because you split up from your partner, you might stop being an husband to them, but you don't stop being a dad. So that's one thing you need to do. That's one thing that really helps with children, is to quickly get in that contact. We have contact order, I was going to say, but just contact, agreement with your wife. The sooner, the better. Okay, that's one thing. Another thing is, right, okay, you've managed to find yourself somewhere to live. So what are you going to do? Where's your kids going to stay? What's going to happen next? Second recommendation or tip, I would say, is you need to make sure that you get accommodation that has got at least 2 bedrooms. I mean, even if it's got 1 bedroom, then fair enough. If that's all you can do, then you have to obviously sleep on the settee where your children take the bedroom. I know a lot of people may go back to the mum and dad's, which is very hard if they've not got enough room, which, but even still, then you obviously yourself would sleep downstairs while they take the bedroom. But yeah, that is your most second important thing, I would say, arranging your living space so that it accommodates your children still, so they can still come to their house and know that they've got a bedroom, not know that they've got to sleep over there on a settee or something. That isn't really cool for a kid. Yeah, they love it and it's good fun. You can still do that even in the bedroom, and it's just probably a good tip as well, to make the bedroom that they're in into a bit of a, I've let them camp in the bedroom, let them, make tents and just play about, make it, a little bit, sort of bit more special than it would normally, obviously, because, makes them forget, which always helps. Imagination can do wonders. But that's the second tip, I would say. I'd say make sure you have some place for them to call their bedroom. Whether it's your bedroom or not, it's still their bedroom when they're there. And it makes them feel a lot more secure. It makes them feel like they've still got, they can come to yours and not have to go back to the mum's on the night, so they're still seeing you. Okay, so we've got tip one. Recommendation is to quickly establish the days you're seeing your children as soon as possible. Make that your first thing you do when you walk out the door. That's it. You go, I'm leaving, bye. But I'm coming to get the kids on this day, and make sure it's arranged and stick to it. Second is make sure the kids have got somewhere to sleep. This is what you're going to think about. You can't just think about yourself. You've got to make sure that you obviously got somewhere for the kids to stay overnight, if that's possible, because that is always the best. So that's the second one. The third one, I would say, is you need to sort of establish some sort of clothing area where they've got a spare pair of clothes, in case something happens, where you've got the children, any spare pair of clothes. If you're not very well off, if you haven't got much money, which at this time sometimes it's quite tight, then go get some second-hand ones. You could pick some second-hand clothes if you're still, if you're a bit stuck for cash, which, a lot of us have been. Or you can get, ones of your friends and families and stuff like that. I'm sure a lot of people know a lot of people with kids. So, but that's your third tip. I would definitely get some clothes, some sort of extra pair of clothes for your kids. I get them some pyjamas, and if you've got girls, you definitely need socks and pants. If it's boys, you still need socks and pants, but girls definitely need some knickers, some pants, an extra set of clothes, just like I say, in case they have an accident, or especially if they're young, or kids are always getting mucky and you need to change them. You can't just then whip back to your mum's. So that's the third tip: an extra set of clothes. And sort of a clothing area. You don't have to be massive at that time, just as much as you can, just quick. Just a few t-shirts, or dresses or whatever, just so they feel like, oh yeah, there. The fourth tip I would say is I would get some toys. Depending on the age of your kids, it all depends. But slightest little bit of toys, stick them in a box, stick them in the corner, just so when they come round, they've got something to play with. If you're a bit distracted or you can't play with them, which I can guarantee at that time you will be distracted. Even if you're playing with them, you're not there in mind. Your body is, but you're not. So, but that's understandable. So that's the fourth one I'd say. You definitely need some sort of like toys for them. This is easy got. You can get them from second-hand shops, or you can bring the toys from their mums that they had. Just something so when they do come to yours, they've got something to play with, something that they know that they sort of care about. Kids care about toys, the old some sort of emotion to them. So if you've got something like a favourite teddy, a couple of favourite teddies at the mum's, take one with you and keep it at your house, or just something like that, just so we can still keep the whole thing connected. Tip 5, and I think this is probably one of the most important ones, especially for us fellas, especially because I know from my experience when I was with my ex-partner, I wasn't, I'm good dad, yeah, always been a good dad, but I wasn't sort of clued up on a lot of the medical issues and stuff like that. We obviously knew if they had asthma or stuff like that. But if they had accidents and stuff, I'd be like, where's the first aid box, stuff like that. So that's another first thing you need to do. You need to create yourself a first aid box. Now, you don't have to go out and buy one, or buy one from Argos. If you've got no money, you can just put one together yourself. Get, some plasters, a couple of bandages, just some antiseptic cream and stuff like that. It works wonders. A kid, will be crying. It's psychological, I know. And the child will have a little graze, and put a little bit of cream on it. It doesn't just sort of detect that. It doesn't take the pain away, it doesn't do anything, but it just makes them feel a little bit more safe, I believe. I think, especially at times like that, when kids are feeling down, they are a little bit, prone to a lot more sort of whining. Jesus, I shouldn't believe you're saying that, but it's true. I was speaking truthfully from my experiences. My kids sometimes, if they graze themselves, especially, when they were going through tough periods themselves anyway, it's a lot more sort of hurtful on the ears. So a good first aid kit, always comes in handy. Bit of cream on there, magic kiss and all that. And it works wonders. So there's 5 tips. This podcast, I think we've got when you first leave your partner or get divorced, the first thing you will need to do when you walk out the door is arrange when you're picking the kids up. Arrange what time you're coming back, pick the kids up and have them overnight, if this is possible, mind you. It's not always possible, and that hopefully I might be able to do a podcast on that another day. But that's the first tip. Make sure you've established when you're picking the kids up and actually stick to it. Second one is to make sure you've got a place for them to actually sleep. If I know it's pretty hard if you just get kicked out or whatever, but if you do manage to get somewhere to live, a flat, or even if you go back to your mum and dad's or a friend's house, try and ask your friend if they can put your kids up as well. I know it's pretty hard on them, but all you need is one bedroom. And if you can sleep downstairs, or even if it comes to a push, you can sleep in the bedroom with them. But just so they've got a bedroom, and then they know that area is dad's. Whether it's a house, whether it's a flat, whether it's a box, not a box on the street, but whether they've got a place. It's dad's. Oh, I'm going to dad's. So it still makes them feel connected. The third one was extra clothes that they've got, a bit of extra, some pyjamas, extra t-shirt, extra dress, for emergency stuff like that. You're going to need these. It's going to happen, I can guarantee it. Especially if they're young, they might, wet the bed, or they might, well, you definitely will need them. The kids go through knickers and pants and socks like, God knows what. The fourth tip was toys. Hopefully you can get some toys from, your ex-partner's house, some toys you have a connection with as well, that you can put at yours, because if there's a connection there with the toys, and you've got the air of the room, it just makes everything feel that more like home for them. And that's what you want. You don't want them to feel, like they're going away on holiday, even though it's, it could still be fun. You can still make it fun. And the fifth one, I think, was, the fifth one was first aid kit. It's not a necessity. You're not going to do bad without it, but it's just a tip, And there you go. There was my phone. Bidding. It was probably someone moaning about my podcast. Anyway, but I hope you enjoyed my quick podcast. Well, it was supposed to be quick now, but anyway, I hope these tips help. If they do, let me know. If you've got any other tips yourself, let me know. If you like the podcast, slap a like on it if you want to. Share it even if you like. And, if you're not subscribed to this channel, why not come and subscribe and listen to me waffle on? Because that's what I seem to do in these podcasts, waffle on. But that's the way I want it. I want it a bit natural. I don't want to be sitting here talking like I'm a posh person and I'm pronunciating every word. But, yes, I'm crazy too. And that's the way I am, I'm a bit of a loon sometimes, my kids say, but, that's the way I like. I like life, I enjoy life, and I just want to help people, and I'm enjoying doing this channel, So, take care, guys. Thanks for listening. Join me next time. Goodbye.